recording? Yes, I'm
Yes.
recording. Okay, here we go. I remembered, yay. And so we'll move on to, I guess we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting, and I'll introduce our Toastmaster for this evening, which is Maurice. Thank you for being our Toastmaster, and I will turn the lectern over to Maurice.
All right. Thank you, David. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and I don't see any guests, so we'll just move on with the Toastmasters. At this time, I would like to have each person go over their roles. First, a grammarian, which is Carrie.
Good evening, Toastmaster and all members. My role is grammarian tonight. It's my responsibility is to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language uses, including misuses of the English language. And today's word, the word of the day I picked is pecuniary. Pecuniary. I think I pronounced okay enough. And the meaning is of money or related to money. Another reason I picked this one is today is a tax due date. That's why I thought this word is really appropriate. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carrie. And we will go to our general evaluator, which is Cheyenne.
Hi everyone, my name is, I will be the general evaluator, and I will I will call up my evaluation team at the end to give the different reports, and I'll also give a brief overview of how the meeting went. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Carrie.
Cheyenne.
Oh, Cheyenne, sorry.
That's all right.
Okay, we'll go to the topics master, which is Majid.
Hello everyone, this is Majid. I will be your table topic master for tonight. Table topic section is for impromptu speech practice, like we speak in elevator for a few minutes just off of our sleeve. I have this 365 table topic questions, and I will let the volunteer pick 1 to 365 question, and I'll ask that question, and then the volunteer would answer the question in 1 to 2 minutes time. With this, I will relinquish the lectern back to Maurice.
Virtual. All right, thank you there, Majid. And we will go to the timer, which is Donovan. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Maurice. My role for tonight's meeting is the timer. Basically, I'm going to keep track of the time, from the prepared speech is, the table topics, and the 2 evaluators. For the prepared speech portion, I'll either do 5 minutes to 5 minutes, 6 minutes and 7. Then for the table topics, I'll do 1 minute, and then 1:40, and then 2. And then for the evaluation portion, I'll do 2 minutes to 30 minutes or 3 minutes. So I'm going to assign the blue people as 1 minute for the table topics and 2 minutes for the evaluation. A black phone case for 1 minute and 30 seconds for table topics, and 2 minutes and 30 seconds for the evaluation. And and this orange for 3 minutes for the evaluation portion and 2 minutes for the table topics. Thank you. Back to you, Maurice.
All right, thank you, Darvin. Last but not least, the awe counter, which is Kyler.
Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Tonight, it will be my duty to listen carefully for any pause words such as like, so anything that could be used to fill in a gap of silence, which could be more useful if it were just a gap of silence. Back to you, Toastmaster.
All right, thank you. I believe that is all the roles, and I don't see any prepared speeches. I don't believe it. Is there an educational overview?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm going to do an educational overview in the place of a prepared speech.
All right, so are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, at this time, we will have the educational overview in the first speaker slot by Olivia.
Good evening, everyone. Today we're going to, well, let me start it this way. Picture this. You're all alone in front of the room. Everyone is watching you, and you're doing all the talking. It's easy to feel that it's all about you, and that's a big mistake. It leads to unnecessary anxiety and ultimately a failure to accomplish your objectives. What am I trying to say here? So I can do all the preparing, do all the studying, know all the facts, deliver my speech in precise timing with no filler words, no unnecessary pauses, and still not meet my accomplishment or not meet my goal? Yes, you know why? Because every speech or presentation is about getting a message to the listener. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you for the next 3 or 4 minutes about listener-centered presentations, caring for the audience. As the speaker, you play an important role, but it's all on behalf of the listeners. If the listener is not getting anything from what you're saying, then your speaking is in vain. If they don't get the message, you've wasted all of your efforts. How do I help them get the message? How do I know what to do to get my audience's attention? Well, here are some strategies to keep your focus in the right place when preparing and delivering your speech. Number 1, clarify the message. It's easy to create content based on what you want to say, right? I mean, and if you are the subject matter expert, then you have a lot to say. So it's easy for us to talk about a topic that we know about very well. But instead of it being easy for you, ask yourself, what do they want to hear? I'm talking about your audience, your listeners. What do they want to hear? This will help you determine or define the scope of your presentation and enhance the relevance of the material. If we remember what it is they want to hear, ask that question first. That's how you clarify your message. For example, if you're speaking to executives, managers, or customer service representatives, your approach should be different based on your audience. So one of the first things you need to do is know your audience. Who am I about to speak to? Given the same topic, each group needs to hear a different message. Does that make sense? If I'm talking to, I know sometimes we like to use the most obvious when I'm talking to a 5-year-old versus a 12th grader, a 17 or 18-year-old. Of course, we're going to use different approaches there. But when we're talking about just a plain group of adults, all which seem to have some of the same level of understanding, some of the same mental capacities, it's still important for us to know that the listener will hear the same message a different way. You need to know your audience. You don't speak to an executive the same way you would a customer service representative. Number 2, find the hook. Consider the significance of your message for the listener. What is it about your message that is significant, that's going to hold their attention? Obviously, everything that you say is important to you, but do they need to hear it? For example, what problem are you going to solve? What stress can be relieved? What ambition can be realized? You need to feel it, not just know why this matters to your audience. You will bring a great deal more passion and persuasiveness to your employment, to your performance. Again, make sure that you're taking the time to figure out why it is important for your audience. What is it going to do for them? Why would you have a conversation about the importance of not smoking if 90% of your audience are non-smokers? Or why would you have a conversation about the importance of riding a bike when you're talking to cyclists? They already know the importance. Make sure your information is tailored towards your audience. And then plan your approach. I have news for you. Don't assume that talking is the best approach. Wait a minute. So we're talking about a presentation, a speech, and talking may not be the best approach? Absolutely not. Given the nature of the content and the makeup of the audience, you may have to consider using other sources. For example, would a picture or an image be more effective? Stories and examples are often memorable. Perhaps a demonstration would even drive the message home. Some people learn well through activity and participation. Do not assume that talking is the best approach. There are a couple more things that I read that I know are important to giving a listener-centered presentation, but there was one more that really stood out to me, and that was deliver with clarity. Of course, you know what you're saying. And this really hit home for me because when I'm listening to a song and I get that one little portion of the song where I'm like, what in the world is he saying or is she saying in that song? And I have to go Google it and try to figure out what it is the singer is saying. But to them, I'm sure it sounds very clear. But that's not what's important. Again, this is about making your presentation listener-centered, caring for your audience. So yes, you may know what you're saying, but perhaps your audience does not. So slow down, pause frequently, and speak with your whole voice. What does that mean, speak with your whole voice? Well, what feels natural for you in a conversation is not a good model for effective public speaking. So the way you talk to your friends or your relatives or your coworkers or maybe even your boss or someone that works underneath you or one of your team members, that natural, normal voice that you use is usually never effective for public speaking. It's a different platform and it has different requirements. If you take on these strategies, clarify the message, find the hook, plan the approach, and deliver with clarity, I promise you will be a better and more effective public speaker. Back to you, Toastmaster.
All right, thank you, Olivia. That was a good educational overview on how to improve your communication, improve your speech, and how to be a better communicator. If you follow this advice, it could help you reach your pecuniary goals, and you can reach higher pecuniary heights. Now, at this time, we will move to our table topics, and our table topics master for tonight is Majid.
Hello, hello, hello. I have few items that are one of the least selling items, and those would be the hardest to sell, period, by the sales stats that I have received. So would you guys want to challenge yourself, see what these products are, and put your feet in that shoes and see if you can ramp up the sale of this product? Oh, I see some excitement. Okay, let's see who's going to go first. Let me share my screen. So, Dave.
I'll give you.
Okay, thanks, Olivia. Just because these are peculiar items, I would rather show a picture. Okay, I can share now. Please let me know if you can see the image that I'm trying to depict. I don't have multiple windows open. But...
Yes, we see butter stick type.
Butter stick. Okay, who wants to go? Now the first question is revealed. Okay, Cheyenne, go for it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my As Not Seen on TV store. I would just like to direct your gaze to our newest product, our butter stick. This is a very convenient product. I don't know if you've ever tried to spread butter on your toast with a knife, but you end up cutting your toast up, and then it gets all over the knife, and then it gets back in the butter. But if let's say you're out for lunch and you get toast with your brunch and they forget to put butter on it, you can just whip out your butter stick and you are good to go. You can just smear it there on your toast and you don't have to dirty up silverware. You don't have to struggle with the butter, just spread it. It's already right there. It's pre-softened, room temperature. You can just put it there on your toast. This is also good. You get a little chapped lips, you can just put a little bit, just a little goes a long way. It's all natural. It's better than chapstick, smells better and tastes better than chapstick. Also, if you go to the movie theater, they put the butter on the top of the popcorn, but then at the middle of the popcorn, there's no more butter anymore. So you can just hold your butter stick and take a piece of kernel, just a quick swipe, and then there you go. You got butter for the rest of your popcorn once you eat past that first layer. Believe it or not, people actually use this instead of licking envelopes. You can just a quick swipe and that envelope will stick right there. There has been some incidences where it was left in the car and it was just completely ruined. So maybe just buy a Yeti cooler or a lunchbox, but don't leave it in your car. Also, depending on the activity you're doing, you may not want to leave it in your pocket either, because we're working, our Butter Stick 2.0 will have it'll be like a self-insulated container and the sealed top, but we're still working on that. So, but I encourage you to jump on board with the Butter 1.0, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. I don't know if you're still looking for any opportunities around. You got almost 7 examples. I said, wow, that was pretty cool. And I like that the popcorn thing.
Wait, this isn't real? Y'all don't have one of these too?
No. Okay, before I slide to the next, who wants to go for the next item in my store? I need some help to boost up this sales.
Okay, Majid, I'll give it a shot.
All right, so let's see what you get. Look at the Philip head. It's negative.
Fellow Toastmasters and fellow Toastmasters, we have a pair of screwdrivers. One is a Phillips head negative and flathead negative. And this is made to screw on a positive head, positive flathead, and a positive Phillips head screw. Don't know how it applies, and I know this is not good advertising. I don't know how it applies in the real world, but I guess whoever buys these tools will be screwed. Anyway, I guess in the next 10 to 20 years, when the world flips upside down, I guess these will be valuable implements, very valuable. Yes. And then, the person who invented it will meet his pecuniary goals and go over and beyond his pecuniary goals with these reverse screw drivers. Back to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Morris. I like that you buy it and then wait for a few years, maybe 10 or 20 years. Maybe when the research goes upside down, then they might be useful. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't see any other use for it, but you got it all covered. So moving on to the next goal, pecuniary goal. Who wants to go next? All right, Kyler. Let's see what we have. Ooh. A adjustable fork and an adjustable spoon and fork.
And a necklace.
Oh, like a dangly thing. Yeah. All right. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. For those of you who are fans of Disney and may have grown up with The Little Mermaid, I'm sure you're all familiar with the famous Dinglehopper scene where she first discovers a fork and attempts to comb her hair with it. Well, we here at Disney Incorporated have created a line of jewelry based off of the Dinglehopper scene from The Little Mermaid. May I interest you in a spoon necklace, a fork earring, another fork earring, and then just a regular spoon and a fork for accessorizing. Now, one precaution I need to give you is that if you try to use these items to eat a meal, you will injure yourself. So please do not use them to eat a meal. We've had quite a few complaints due to the confusion. So the newer model coming out comes with a sign that says jewelry only. Please do not use this to eat. But as many of you know, Disney is a multi-million-dollar industry. We found ways to make money off of almost everything so far. And this honestly was just a challenge. Someone was like, do you think you can make money off of this? And I was like, I bet I can. I bet I can. So that is our conclusion for the limited edition Dinglehopper jewelry series from The Little Mermaid Disney. You can order one now for 9 payments of $19.95. We take credit or Social Security cards. Thank you. Back to you, Majid.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Kyler. You associated with some brands, so that's got some attention, and especially there's some the cartoon animation Dinglehopper and line of jewelry. So you got some attention right there, and just the point ending with limited editions sells stuff here. So you seem like you're on the right track. All right, who wants to go next? Maybe a fun product next. Maybe a little easier or a little curvy. It's not that hard. I see some
think
smiles. This is about to come out. Okay.
Okay,
I
I'll
think
try.
Carrie wants, oh.
Oh, go ahead. That's fine.
No, go ahead. No. I thought Carrie was getting excited down there. I thought she wanted to do it. Go ahead, David. I was just speaking with Carrie.
Okay.
All right. David, I have you. All right, David.
Good evening, everyone. I am been assigned to advertise a green kettle that pours back into itself. And you may ask yourself, why would I want a kettle that I can't water plants with? All it can do is water itself. The reason is quite simple. You never run out of water. The water circulates amongst itself, and you have a never-ending kettle to, and you probably, if you've ever watered plants and things of that nature, the problem is you always run out of water, and then you have to go get more water. And that process takes time, it distracts from our lives, and it's just not fun to do. So we've invented the circulating kettle that waters itself. It can also be used as a shower for mice. If you put a mice in there, but now that requires the accessory pump that pumps the water through the nozzle, but it's a nice little shower for mice or gerbils. But the gerbils didn't really like it that much because they're a little bit bigger, than they didn't fit as well, and they bit me. So we don't have the gerbils anymore, but that is our product. And if you buy today, you won't get a good deal because it's not on sale. It's probably never going to go on sale, but we do like it a lot, and we feel like it's worth the full price. So please buy, and that way I can go buy things for myself. Back to you, Majid.
Wow, David, awesome. Thank you so much. That was, I think, one of the hardest item. I said, why somebody made it? And there's not even a joint in there that somebody would say it's flipped. So it is a product somehow. And it shows up as the least selling item. But yeah, maybe few people have mice as a pet, so maybe they use it. And the concept of being never-ending water, and I think circulating water, as you said, may have some attraction to some people. That's awesome. Thank you, David. All right, who do we have next? Not gonna. Okay, it's there. It's there. Almost. All right, Carrie. 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 A head desk. A head desk.
Okay. Good evening, Toastmaster. Actually, good evening, people. Head desk. Have you ever had a tire during the work time? Of course, we all tired during the work time. Do you need something in the rest? That chair, or your hands, or even your cup, or, but none of them make me comfortable. So this is a head desk. You probably need it. You absolutely need it. When you're tired, you can take a nap anywhere you want, even during your desk. Just 1 minute, 30 seconds. You need to take a nap, use a head desk. And now this is only $10. And we take all major credit cards. Thank you. Or even cash. And if you use this one, you see the pecuniary result. That means you may get the promotion, because after taking a nap, you have a good job performance, better performance. Thank you.
Thank you. That was one of the challenging item, and I don't know how employers would react to this head desk, but the point that you said you absolutely needed motivated me saying, oh, this is something that I need to use, I need to see because it's something absolutely you needed. And the way you motivated it, saying 1 minute nap or a 2 minute nap would refresh you. Awesome, Corey, you were hitting right on the point. All right, well, one more last product. And all right, Olivia, a socks roller? Is it a socks roller?
What is it called?
A socks roller? It helps you roll up the socks. I don't know. Seems like a socks.
Okay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have found the ticket to ease all of your back pain. Daily, we have to bend over to put on our socks and our shoes, and sometimes that proves to just be painful. So, with the invention of this apparatus, you can now put your socks on without having to bend all the way to the floor. These go right in handy with the new shoes that came out that you can put your foot into them. They're sneakers without having to bend over, and the back of the shoe just pops up in place. So these go with all socks, dress socks, casual socks, crew socks, ankle socks, thigh highs, and ladies, for you trying to put on those stockings or those pantyhose, these work for you as well. I know this will be a pecuniary opportunity, or you will have a pecuniary advantage if you buy in bulk, because you can, once you try these out, all of your friends, your co-workers are going to want to get on board. So take advantage of this pecuniary opportunity to buy these in bulk and sell them. You will make a lot of money. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Olivia. I like the at the end you said pecuniary option
I
that
forget how to say it.
associate with money gets a fast seller. So okay, pecuniary option of selling it.
Okay, this is one. Pecuniary. That's how you pronounce it.
Thank you. Do we have time, or shall we move on? I don't know.
We could do one more, I think. Donovan needs to do one.
Yeah, all right. And Jonathan, I don't have a picture, but I can ask. We can ask from one of the prepared the 365 table topic questions that I have. Do you want to pick one number, Jonathan?
5.
5. What life lesson did you learn the hard way?
My question that I've been given is, what lesson have I learned the hard way? Let me think. I would say the one thing that I learned the hard way is that kids, like when you're a kid, sometimes you just don't like to eat your vegetables. And over time, it kind of dawns on you what your parents have done when you were a kid. Like you fight tooth and nail with them, or you will get punished because you didn't eat veggies, and so on. It's not really helpful, but I've learned that the hard way, and I bet some of y'all who are parents that might feel the same way about your own kids. Like some kids like vegetables, some kids don't. That would be one thing that I remember that I the hard way. Thank you. Back to y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. That was a good, thoughtful answer. Yeah, I'm in agreement with you 100%. Like everyone have a very different prospect of things. Like even my kids, they are like 2 years apart, but they are like completely reciprocal. even the boys and girls, and even the boys and boys are really different. Thanks, Jonathan, for that detailed answer, thoughtful answer. With this, I will relinquish the lectern back to our Toastmaster, Morris.
All right, thank you there, Majid, for that excellent table topic session. Now we'll move to the next stage of the meeting, which is the evaluation period. And the person who will orchestrate this evaluation period is our general evaluator, Cheyenne.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I will start by calling up the evaluation team. I do not believe we had an evaluation for Olivia's speech. So I'll just go right into the other ones, and I will start with the person to my right here. Will you please give your all counter report?
All right, greetings, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, which I need to quit saying the honored guest part, but greeting fellow Toastmasters is automatic. So I was in charge of the accounting, as I just put out 2 filler words in 1 sentence. So I cannot be pointing out sticks in other people's eyes when I've got a beam in my own eye, but I'm here to help. And we did really great this evening. I didn't catch very many filler words. I caught a few with Cheyenne, but it was when you were riffing, you were coming up with ideas like descriptions for what you could do with the butter stick. I think a couple of us, I myself included, there's a few people, a couple of filler words kind of slip out when you're thinking on the fly. Like that's the more common. I feel like that's the spot where filler words want to sneak in. So that was a good challenge that I like that Majid use those kind of questions, because that's one of the best challenges to learn to get rid of, filler words, because is when you need them the most, is when you're trying to think on the fly. It can kind of help you think a little faster as you build that muscle. I feel like every skill is really just like a muscle. The more you do it, the better it gets. Then I also want to say I really like David's table topic response. That was hilarious. That had me cracking up. So that was good. And he did it the whole time with no filler words. So that was awesome. Congrats on that. And with that, back to Maurice. Sorry, back to Cheyenne.
All right. Thank you. All right. And for our grammarian.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Start with Olivia. I heard 3 times today's word again, pecuniary. Olivia used 3 times, I believe, in her short speech. Maurice, you used 4 times in total. Majid used twice. I didn't hear from Cheyenne, Kyler, David, Donovan, but I used it once. And then any misuse of English or grammar, I didn't hear. And I'm sorry, I'm not a really good salesperson, I believe in it, but I think I did well enough. And then we all did very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. All right, and for our timer report.
Thank you, Mrs. Evaluator and for the Toastmasters. I had the role of being the timers report. First, I would like to. I didn't know how to title this, so at first I had prepared speech, but then I changed to education overview. So I calculated the pecuniary of the time for Olivia was 8 minutes and 11 seconds. Then I calculated the pecuniary time of the table topics. The first time Cheyenne had 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Maurice had 1 minute and 9 seconds. Kylo had 1 minute and 46 seconds. David had 1 minute and 35 seconds. Carrie's table topic was 1 minute and 14 seconds. Olivia had 1 minute and 20 seconds. And myself, I had 1 minute and 30 seconds. Thank you. Back to you, Mrs. General Evaluator.
All right, thank you, Donovan. And I believe that is all our reports for today. So I will just give a brief overview of the meeting. We did have to recess to let everyone get online, so that's fine. We've been bad about logging in late, so we just try to, if we're still getting stuff together, just at least be logged in, because you never know if you're gonna have to get your computer charger or it's not gonna turn on or whatever reason. So that always helps. We had a good meeting. I know that I'm working on trying to be more involved with trying to get speeches turned out. So I know it's been a little bit since we had a speech last time, but we've had quite a few meetings where we only have like table topics. So if we can just like work on getting those speeches, speaking to myself too. And then I love the table topics. I like the different products, and I'm glad to know that the butter stick is real, because I love to give joke gifts, and I have a lot of birthdays coming up, so I'm gonna put some of those gifts in there. That sock holder, they actually have that at Walgreens, but it's on the ground, and you like load your sock into it, and it sits on the floor like one of those like shoe cleaners, but you can put your foot in it, and it's awesome. That one that you showed, I Googled it real quick, and that's actually to help with compression stockings, like the big one, because they're very hard to get on. So I was like, oh, and it could actually be helpful. But thank you, Majid, for that creative table topics. I appreciate that. All right, and that is it for my report. And I will now pass it back to our Toastmaster. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cheyenne. At this time, I don't believe we have any awards tonight. Any awards? No. So at this time, I believe my time as Toastmaster is about to come to an end. So I will relinquish the lectern back to the acting president.
Thank you, Maurice, and thank you for being our Toastmaster, and thank everyone for participating. We all had roles tonight, and we all participated in the table topics. And thank you, Olivia, for your educational overview in the speaker's spot. That was very good. Clarify the message. I took a few notes. That's an important thing. I remember when I was working, these weren't actually speeches, but people would come up to me sometimes with a problem, and they would just start talking about some detail of it, and I would have to tell them, back up. What are we even talking about here? So it's easy when you're an expert on something or know a lot about something to forget that the audience you're talking to needs to understand the basics first. And so clarifying what your message is important. And as you said, knowing your audience, and each group needs to be approached a different way, and finding a hook. That's all very good. And then also the natural conversation is what we're used to doing, but in public speaking, we need to use vocal variety and other techniques to get people's attention, because it's very easy to lose people's attention. I think I do it all the time. And as Cheyenne said, we do need to try to get more speeches going. Wes has been speaking about that as our club coach, and he's correct. I think we've slacked off a bit. I'm working on another speech. And I think next week, Carrie's going to give a speech, and Wes will give a speech as part of the pathways. And that also helps establish our club towards meeting our goals. Honestly, I'm not worried about what our club is, whether we're a distinguished club or whatnot. I think the important thing is that we're all trying to grow, and it is important to try to gain new members. So, we'll do the best we can, and wherever we end up is where we end up. But Wes is right that we do need to try to get going with some things. It's easy to get complacent. I find I try to live my life in a state of complacency sometimes, but it's good to get out of our comfort zone, and giving speeches is a really good way to do that, because it can challenge us. But that's about all I've got. And does anybody, it's 7:34, so it's a little bit early, but we had a good meeting and I think we accomplished everything. Does anybody have anything before we sign off? Any other club business or anything you'd like to discuss?
I want to hear what Morris has. I want to hear what Morris has. Is something going on over there?
Oh, something going on? What's going on, Majid?
No, I'm asking you. I see you super excited over there. What's going on?
He just ordered his salt put on machine.
Oh, excuse me.
Very good. Well, okay. Well, good seeing everyone, and we will hopefully see everybody again next week. Next week, Luke should hopefully be back. If the Coast Guard doesn't have him working again, I'll have to talk to his supervisor at the Coast Guard and say, look, we have Toastmasters on Monday night. Luke needs to be here. So they're going to probably say something like, military takes precedence or something, but we'll see. Okay, very good. Thank everyone, and we'll see you next week.